Hello, Aaron Fulk. How are you doing?
Do you see the text I sent you to during the pre-show?
No, I thought you were telling me why.
Don't say anything out loud. I just thought you were going to be laughing on here, and you weren't. So, hi, Scott. I'm great. How are you?
Doing absolutely wonderful. Hopefully, you are staying inside and beating this heat. It's hot in Kansas City right now.
I have an old house that's like layered. You know those layered houses?
Yeah.
So it's really tricky because the kids' rooms are on the like top layer. I don't know what it's called, floors. I don't know. But anyways, I had a space heater on my feet earlier because my office was so cold because I'm trying to keep the house cool and it's just like old and layered. But I am beating the heat, but I'm going to happy hour right after this. So it is going to probably be hot. I'm going to a happy hour that I'm not going to drink at because I'm not drinking right now.
There you go. Well, it's good. You know, it's I always tell people I'd lose 10 pounds a week if I didn't do happy hours and eat fried food afterwards. I think that's a lot of business people's problems.
Well, I've been working out every day at 5:30. So I feel like if I drink, it's just I'm not going to work out tomorrow. It's going to
absolutely
today. So
yeah, no, I know.
I feel like I'm kind of like you, where if I have one, I have to have 20 and it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, the only folks I know that can always handle what they're doing is Bestway International and Evardy Construction. I guarantee if they were watching the show right now, they would say all day, every day. They can wake up at 5:30. They can do it all.
Your transitions are kind of improving, I guess.
I think I'll take that as a compliment. But you know, with tariffs still going on, Bestway International is still in very, very high demand. Anyone that's following anything negotiating with any country around the world, Bestway International will find a way to get it here and get it to your location here domestically. And Evardy Construction is building like crazy. So this is their busy season. And then we talk to them at the end of the year and we say, hey, if you market with Drinks with Leaders, it's going to keep staying busy.
Do you know for the past at least 30 days, every day I do like whatever's trending for the Legal Growth Partners business. We do, if I was this type of attorney, I would do this because it's trending online and whatever one of the top trending things is we do about. Do you know at least every day, probably for this whole summer, I can't remember a day that that the word tariffs wasn't trending online.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Oh, look, here's your friend. Watching from the gym where I'm not drinking or eating fried food yet.
Oh, we got to show. When's Paul hosting?
Oh, Paul was supposed to co-host while I was in Miami. I was in Miami 2 weeks ago. You guys didn't do it. That's not my fault. So, let us know if you're watching.
We got to get on it. I'm going to make a note right now. But let's get going.
Let us know. He can do it when I'm in Colorado. I'm going to a show in Colorado in a couple weeks, or going to a show at Red Rocks in Colorado. We can do that. Let us know if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Are you watching us live? Are you watching the replay? We are officially a little over 5 years of this show, going into year 6 of this show. So it's been happening for a long time, and I can't believe you guys still watch us, but I love it. We do want comments. We want messages. We want all of the things. If there are things you want to see that we haven't done in the past 5 years. So let us know that as well. Paul, I know, because if I don't do it, it doesn't get done, Paul. It's like everybody's home. If she doesn't do it, it doesn't get done. Okay, I digress. You want to bring on our, we do have some amazing sponsors. I did want to say while you're talking about the tariffs, Bestway International, that is trending every single month. And Bestway International is doing a webinar every month to tell you what's going on, what to expect for your business, the best way they can forecast. It's called Cargo Cafe. Go make sure you register for that on their page. And then Evardy is doing some insane stuff in town as well. So make sure you follow their page because they're doing some really cool stuff and they're posting project pictures. All right, nobody cares about us. You want to butt in our guest? Okay, I'm going to say take that as a
yes.
Let's
go.
Okay. Worst song ever. Sorry, guys. So bad. Did you see that Ozzy Osbourne just passed away right before we started the show? It's so sad. All right, here we go.
Yes.
So we're doing rock music for him. I hate this. Here we go. First guest is Will. And
Hey.
Hi, guys. How are you?
It was a great intro. Thank you, guys.
Love the music.
Scott's favorite. So, all right. We are gonna get started. You know what I didn't go through in the pre-show? So you go usually all these people watching, which we do have people watching. We usually like checks down and everything. You guys sounded fine. I was really into talking about myself today. So if I mute you, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'll unmute you when it's your turn to talk. All right. With that said, Will, who are you? What do you do? How do you get to Kansas City?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Aaron and Scott, for having us on. And shout out to Michael Imarino, who I think got us connected. And yeah, it's kind of surreal thinking about years, 5-ish years ago. I remember when you guys started this and seeing it on LinkedIn and y'all's faithfulness until now. So it's an honor to be on. So I was born and raised in the Kansas City metro area, graduated from Shawnee Mission East, and have eventually worked my way back to town. So I went to college at a small school in Indiana. That's where I met my wife, Lauren. And after Lauren and I had our first child in 2018, aka not the plan, we said, hey, back to the drawing board, and work-wise and family and connections, we're here in Kansas City. And so that is what brought us back. So it's been great being back since 2018. We now have 3 kiddos, ages 7, 5, and 1. Aaron, we were mentioning before the show that it goes by quick. So all the chaos of summer, we're just soaking it up every second to the best of our ability. I'm the co-founder of a company called shareyourstory.com. And so we help prospective authors get published. We help on the writing, editing, and publishing side to bring their book to life. And then we help speakers share their story and get on more stages. And so shareyourstory.com, that's my co-founder and I. We founded that company in 2020 and officially formed our LLC in 23. And now we're here helping leaders share their story with the world. So that's where we're at.
All the questions. Are you ready? Did you write a book and were you speaking before you did that, or how do you end up in that space?
Yeah, great question. So that honestly takes me to a little bit about the most pivotal day in my career. I don't want to jump the gun though. But yeah, I think one thing I will share is that when I was in high school, my dad, Bill Severns, who is a speaker in town, he wrote a book called Keepers of the Sandlot. And the goal of that book is to help coaches and parents relax when it comes to their kid playing youth sports or activities. And so what it means as a coach or parent to help your community just relax and enjoy the time they have to play the game, because it does go by so quick. So that was kind of the first time in my life that I saw someone in my immediate circle pursue authorship. This many years later, in 2019, 2020, I had a content marketing company with a few different clients in town. One of those, our mutual friend, Josh Levin. And Josh is going, Will, books are too long. He goes, they need to be right here. And I said, okay. And so I had started to get into ghostwriting. Some individuals reached out and said, would you help me share my story in book form? So I did it for myself, wrote and published my first book that was largely a means to an end to say, if I'm going to help others with this, I want to know how to do it. That's what started me on this journey of helping others share their story in book form.
What school did you go to in Indiana?
It's a small school called Taylor University. It's like an hour north of Indianapolis. If you've heard of it, we have a tradition that ESPN picked up on years ago called Silent Night, which is one basketball game a year where no one says a word until Taylor scores their 10th point, and then the whole crowd goes wild. So it'd be fun for if anyone's listening wanting to look it up on YouTube. Kind of a cool tradition that, other than that, you probably haven't heard of us.
We did a college visit to Evansville. That's why I was wondering on that one. So
yeah. For sure.
It was awesome. Okay. John, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Well, first, can you hear me all right?
Yes,
right.
All right, I'm back. Cool. So Sean Kitts, live here in Overland Park, born in St. Louis. Yes, from the Lou, and I'm proud, but Kansas City's home. Moved here when I was 10, call it home, and it will be home. So went to Rockhurst High here in town. Married my high school sweetheart. She went to Aquinas. Went up north to Drake for school, and then came back to Kansas City. And I think at that point set up shop here for our family. So I've got a 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And yes, the days are long, but the years fly by. So we've been having an absolute blast. What do I do? So I actually studied finance and entrepreneurship. So thought I was gonna be an entrepreneur, or, who knows, maybe in private equity, investment banking. Well, I've kind of been around that, but really been in tech for, over a decade. So I've been a practitioner for a little bit, a sales rep for a while, a sales leader for a while, a leader of leaders for a while. So I've been kind of all around the tech scene for a minute here in Kansas City. Super passionate about, if you want to call it the freight train. So, businesses that are up and coming, and recently was fortunate to find a big organization on the East Coast called Consortium. And they were expanding west of the Mississippi, opening up, some offices here in the Midwest, Tula, and the West Coast. And I was thrilled to hop on board. So we are a cybersecurity reseller, with a twist. I'm certainly in Kansas City, and wanted to find opportunity to work back in Kansas City. We'll eventually grow to Omaha, Des Moines, possibly back into St. Louis. And a little bit about us, what I do, and why why I'm super passionate about what I'm doing right now is that we're just a little bit different. There's a million cybersecurity resellers in the space, but we are just slightly different. Now we have a platform that was designed by CISOs, so Chief Information Security Officers, for Chief Information Security Officers. And I won't go too crazy. Scott, I know, the industry, but if you think about it, our ability, I know insurance, and I know you know it well, even though maybe you say you don't. But at the end of the day, we can take a company, we can load in some quick data points, right? Like size of company, revenue, industry, and then we can build out their risk profile. So we go pull all the cybersecurity insurance claims data, and we can show organizations what their risk profiles are. And then from there, we help them. It sounds pretty cliche, but we help them keep their business safe. We help them justify budgets, build up their program, and basically that tool combined with who we are is kind of how I ended up at Consortium. And frankly, why I was excited to open up in Kansas City, because this is home for me and I love it.
So you're currently living in Kansas City or St. Louis? I got a little lost.
That was really good.
I live in OP, born in St. Louis, moved here when I was 10.
Born in St. Louis. Okay. Yeah. Well, you started singing Nelly, and I think I just got a little overwhelmed.
It was his 25th anniversary this year. So I had to throw that in there.
Speaking of, he just had a baby and he's 50. Speaking of having babies.
It was hard for me not to, so I had to do it. But I do appreciate you catching it.
I did. All right. Your turn to be on the show, Scott.
I was going to say, Sean's not St. Louis. You guys actually live 6 minutes from each other. Will, what is the most pivotal point in your career?
Yeah, most pivotal point in my career, April 12th, 2019 is the day I was fired from a smaller marketing agency here in town. And, I mentioned earlier, my wife and I were in Indiana when we had our first child. And then we moved to Kansas City and got a job. And 8 to 9 months later, I was let go from that job. And, that's a day that you look back on in the moment. It's like, oh man, this is tough and not the plan. And then you look back now as not only, I would say, the most pivotal day, but also one of the best days of my life, because I was, I think, liberated, so to speak. And I sent out an email the next day to 30 to 40 different business leaders and connections in town. And that led to my first few marketing clients. So I started my own marketing company in town, had that for about a year. That is when I was doing some work alongside a guy like Josh or Sam Unruh with Unruh Furniture, or Easy Tiger, if you guys remember Hallmark, working on cards and stuff. And then that eventually led me to doing some more ghostwriting work and led me to where I'm at today. And so I have a huge heart for people who are in that position, either making that leap, quitting their jobs to pursue an endeavor that they're passionate about, or like in my case, didn't really have the option. They were given the boot. And I think both require courage. I don't know if I would have ever had the courage to quit my job to go pursue my own deal, but I'm grateful that after getting fired, I met up with my brother that night. he grilled out, we call them celebration steaks, and we cheers to the future, not knowing exactly what it held, but we were excited for whatever would come along.
He heard you, but anyways, this is my space, so I was here the whole time.
It's all good. See you again, Scott.
Okay,
Connection.
so since you've owned an agency, here's what I'm interested in. Everybody says agency work is some of the hardest work, right? Because it's very clients, it's very go, and right now AI is taking over the industry. With that said, what are the differences that you see in owning an agency versus owning a business that works directly with like just like the one person, not a team, not a CMO that's overseeing? Like, what are the differences you see, and why have you become so passionate about like that one-on-one work?
Yeah. Are you saying like to go from self-employed to like actually owning a business?
No, owning an agency, and then now you're owning where you're like versus marketing for people like companies versus marketing people. You're marketing people. Like it's the same thing. You're just marketing people versus companies.
Yes, right. Okay, I see. No, that's a great question. I think amplifying individuals' voices is something that I've come to love. Yes, kind of on that B2B space, or with a kind of with a more of a project-based approach. It's so powerful for a number of different reasons, and specifically when helping someone share their story. I mean, this is a lifelong dream. They're going, guys, people have told me for years, you've got a book in you, and so it's a very important undertaking and endeavor, and we don't take that lightly. The beauty, I think, is not just, I think the beauty in it, Aaron, is surrounding that individual with a team, their own project manager, writers, editors, designers, so that individual feels like, oh my gosh, I have like a personalized agency that is fueling this vision that I've had for years on end.
Okay, I have one more quick question, then we gotta go because we're out of time.
Great.
Does everybody get told that they have a book in them at some point, and do you believe that everyone does?
Yeah, yes and no. I think one of the best things we do for our authors is set realistic expectations on the front end so that they aren't hurt on the back end. We say, what if you're meant to write something better than a bestseller? And if you start with that one person in mind that you're supposed to reach with your book, then in the end, it's going to be worth it. And so everyone has a story, maybe substitute the word book with story. And that is true. Everyone has a story, and we just get to help them share it in a few different mediums.
Awesome. All right, Scott, you're back in time to ask your question. Are you ready?
Hopefully the connectivity is there. Sean, what's the most pivotal point in your career?
It's funny. I think it's probably a series of events, but they all have a similar theme. So maybe I'll say that. So it's maybe willing to say yes or willing to take a chance. And here's what I mean by that. I've had a chance to work for some incredible leaders, CEOs, entrepreneurs. Frankly, is kind of how I would refer to it. So had a chance to work with Carl Wassinger when he was kind of getting smart warehousing up and running, Jim Masterson at LightEdge when he was ramping up LightEdge, and then most recently Nate Ungarat here at Consortium. And I think the fun part of it is when you can join an organization that's large enough. So when I joined H3, roughly 100 employees, but kind of at that hockey stick of growth. When you have these leaders that are entrepreneurs and willing to take risks, but also willing to let the team, just basically go make it happen, magic usually follows. So for me, it's been the combination of those two, finding organizations that had a high growth mindset with leaders that believed in the team, but more importantly, we're focused on the client. And then magic kind of happens. But if you were to guess, I go to a single moment, or even back to some of the stories that were just told, it's like, hey, there's going to be twists and turns, but say yes, take the risk, have faith, and then make the jump and go. So I guess that's my answer. Maybe it's a couple pivots.
I don't know if Scott's, I'm trying not to do all the talking, but I feel like he's having.
You're good. I think he was just mesmerized. So, he was paused,
Whoa,
yeah, hopefully my reception today. Yeah, I apologize, Aaron. Sean, what do you think?
Okay,
I lost you there.
Questions. We can't
What's
hear
the
you.
biggest
Okay.
reach?
Fix it. You can come back and watch. I'll let you come back and watch. Okay. I have a question. Where did you go to school for, and what did you think you would be doing, right? Because you said like you did some entrepreneurial stuff. And so like, I guess I kind of feel like once you have some entrepreneurial like feelings, like that doesn't go away. So how do you see them using that when you're working in your role you're in now?
Yeah, well said. So when what I thought I would be doing is probably, the quintessential private equity investment banking. And definitely had an entrepreneurial flair. I mowed lawns around Kansas City for a long time over in Leawood. Grew a little business doing that in high school, college, right? So I guess going back to that pivotal kind of career question, I think I'm using it like right now, for example. So we're opening up a new market, and basically defining a go-to-market with a new company that has a brand new kind of approach to cybersecurity. So to me, that's the exciting point. So when you get leaders and teams that all believe in it, that's kind of what makes it special. So I guess to your question, studied finance and entrepreneurship, and somehow trying to find a way to use it in tech by growing markets.
What is the number one thing that you see that businesses are like, that like when your company goes in, you go, oh my gosh, this is such a security. Like, what's that number one thing?
Well, there's an easy buzzword right here with AI and everything around it. So just I would say planning for it, preparing for it, but understanding it is critical. Everyone's gearing up for it. The other thing is just honestly, it's like simple stuff, like users and having access to systems and like identity access management, stuff like that. So it's kind of funny because all the buzzwords going to say AI, but then you still have to keep, the locks and doors, the doors locked right on the house is what I'd say. So a little bit of both, the basic stuff and then the buzzword.
Yeah, that's definitely the word. All right, Will, how is your 2025 going? We are over halfway through. And how can the Kansas City community help you get to your goals?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, Aaron. It's going great. My co-founder and I, we set a revenue goal at the beginning of the year, and we thought, man, if we could do this by the end of the year, and we actually hit it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it was like, oh man, this is fun. Yeah, thank you guys. And again, it's kind of surreal just being in Josh's office 4 or 5 years ago, and he helped me brainstorm the idea for this business. And the last 4 to 5 years I have been head down. I spent a lot of time at the library or coffee shops around town. I'm sure running into a lot of the people that you guys know. We did our first author in July of 2021. And actually yesterday we signed our 182nd that we've worked with over the last 3 to 4 years. And so I think in terms of how the Kansas City community could help, Scott and I have started this conversation of just don't keep us a secret. We work with authors all across the country, but starting to elevate voices in our own backyard is a huge passion of mine. Looking at you three for an example, I mean, you guys are experts in your field. We work with a lot of, I think, kind of 45 to 70, on that second mountain. You've had your fluid intelligence, as Arthur Brooks would say, from strength to strength, crossing over into crystallized intelligence. You've got it between the ears and you're ready to bestow it on a new generation. Mark Schaefer, getting ready to work on his, getting ready to release his book in the fall. Corey Shear, Katie Mullen,
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of brilliant Kansas City leaders we've gotten, each of them, Corey, maybe author number 74, Mark, maybe 126. But there are so many more in our own backyard that I'm so excited to work with. So yeah, shareyourstory.com, books, media, speaking is how we help those leaders. That is one way. Don't keep us a secret. We want to help those people share their story. Another audience we serve are brilliant writers, editors, designers. And if you know anyone in that space, we pair the two. Like I said, we build a team around those authors. And that, to Sean's point, in the face of AI over the last few years, my co-founder, we laugh. We essentially started a writing and editing company in the face of this behemoth, and my brother Drew and I, we love the line that truth is often somewhere in the middle, where we aren't completely turning a blind eye to it, but we're also, we don't lead with it in terms of the writing process and our writing phase, because getting in an author's head is it's too precious of a process, and understanding their heart and conveying that on paper. So we get to help people with English degrees that are going, what am I going to do with this now? And say, there's a place for you to help these people share their stories. So yeah, if you guys know anyone on the writing, editing, design, we're always open to amazing talent as well.
I'm going to ask you a question. If you're not comfortable answering it, it's fine. I'm going to ask a follow-up question.
That's great.
What does the process of working with you look like financially?
Yeah, totally. So we're a high ticket offering. Whether we are accepting a completed manuscript or starting from scratch, that largely differs on that to answer your question. But one thing Alex and I have is called the Voiceless Foundation, and that's how we're able to work with even more leaders. So one name I didn't mention in our own backyard earlier is Jermaine Wilson. We're getting ready to release his book later this year. Jermaine was incarcerated in Leavenworth Prison from 2013 to 2016. 2 years later, he was the mayor of Leavenworth. Wait till you guys see this story. And individuals like that, we get to serve through the Voiceless Foundation, which is essentially, it's like, financial aid from our normal offering that you would see on our website. But shareyourstory.com, the pricing's all there. People pay us to pay an incredible team. So we kind of operate as like a fee-only financial planner in that regard.
Cool. Oh, we have another financial person on here. Sean, how are your 2025 goals going, and how can the Kansas City community help you get there?
Well, thank you. It's going well. So just getting up and running, let's see, probably 4 months in. So for this, I would just say this is great. Like, if you walk around KC, I've been in the market here for a while, and excited to kind of be back in some regards. I was kind of traveling nationally for the last 4 or 5 years. So, just knowing the name Consortium, we've got a great story to tell. It's frankly why I chose to come to work here. But also on a personal note, like, I'm excited to do this. I haven't had a chance to network back in Kansas City and meet people. It's what I love to do. It's home, and we all, if you can work with friends and provide value to one another, that's the best thing. So for me, I'd love to just make a connection. If there's any way I can help, that's wonderful, personally, professionally. And then second, if anyone of is in the need to grow and build a business and keep it safe, mention the name Consortium. I'd love to meet them personally. And if there's any opportunity to benefit them professionally, whether it's with me or anyone else, that's great. As long as we're all helping Kansas City, to me, that's a wonderful place to start.
Okay, we know Will's website. What's the best way to get a hold of you? LinkedIn, or is there a website? Or
yeah, LinkedIn's great. Consortium.net's great. But yeah, LinkedIn, I'm on it all the time, watching both of you, now all three of you, and quick to respond. So, shoot me a note, check out the website. We'd be happy to connect any way possible.
Okay, awesome. Scott, are you going to try to talk?
I don't know. Was problem solving a strength of yours as a kid?
Was that for me?
Nothing.
Nobody knows.
Yes, Sean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. You got me in my tracks there, Scott. Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably say yes. So I don't know. If there's something to go, I would say if there's something to go, a challenge to go do, then like I kind of enjoy to go find a way to go get it done type of deal. So I guess the answer is yes. I don't know if I have a great example.
You're really good with different decision makers. So I just always feel like you like problem solving, whether it's the CTO or CFO.
Yeah.
All right. We got to keep the show at 30 minutes or no one will ever watch us. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. Paul did say apparently Haven's on 14.4 dial-up. We want to say thank you so much to our guests. Thank you so much to Bestway International and Evardy Construction for sponsoring this. Scott, thank you so much for being the most helpful co-host ever, especially today. Make sure you tune in. Same time, same place. Go connect with Will and Sean. We will see you next week. All right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.